Well, hello, my CNC brother or sister. I am Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and I am so glad you have come to this video, especially if you are someone who is getting interested in CNC routers to make some amazing creative stuff. You've probably been watching videos and such, thinking, I just really want to do this. I come from the school of thought when I see this kind of stuff, other people wanting to get into it, that it's your inner spirit calling you to start creating. We all have this creative energy inside of us, and when we're drawn to it, my particular or personal feeling is just go for it. I think a lot of times people hold back. They're afraid of getting into something brand new. Maybe they're afraid they can't do it, or worried about the money or something like that. But I want to talk to you about something where sometimes, you know, somebody just kind of strikes you in the right way to make someone like me shoot a video like this for you. I got an email today from somebody who was telling me in their email how they are working in their job. They've been working in it in quite some time, and they are burnt out. They can feel it sucking the life out of them. I don't know if you've ever felt that way in a job before, where you just know you don't belong in the 9 to 5 anymore, and it's time for you to move on and do something else. Yet maybe you're kind of afraid, you're feeling insecure, letting go of that security. Isn't that interesting? We'll hold on to the security and sacrifice our own personal happiness. I want to share with you something to maybe give you some insight. It was a couple of years ago when I was stuck in the 9 to 5 in a job for the security of money, and I was miserable. I was at a point I was actually thinking about putting a gun in my head. That's how unhappy I was. One day I looked in the mirror and I asked myself the question, and that question was, am I willing to go through this feeling one more day? And the answer was very clear, hands down, absolutely not. That day I turned in my resignation, and I have never looked back. Now, I didn't find CNC till a couple years later. Interestingly, when I turned in my resignation, I had no idea what I was going to be doing. I just didn't care. I became psychologically unemployable that day. I was going to come up with my own path. And so I learned from a lot of people about business and what have you, and then the craft of CNC kind of fell into my lap, and I've got a lot of CNC experience through my career history. So it was very nice to transition into something that had a lot of meaning for my spirit. And today, I'm happier than I've ever been, because I'm doing exactly what I want to do, which is helping you create stuff. And if you have this idea of wanting to get into business with your CNC machine, I teach that too. I've had several successful businesses, and I have got a very successful business going on now, teaching you how to do this stuff. I mean, I want to take you over here to a little pile of CNC projects that I have that I hope will inspire you a little bit, that you can do this. Right, so this is just like the tip of the iceberg of just miscellaneous things I've made. There's this flag here. By the way, this is a video that you need to watch. I'll put a link down below. It walks you through the entire design process from start to finish, how to design a project. Things like this, a beer flight I've made for a local brewery, Mad Paddle. I love going there. Mad Paddle's so cool. I love this little town of Madison that I live in, by the way. So artsy and crafty, and everybody knows everybody else. It's just so much fun. This awesome line, which is a symbol of power to me. To me, it's actually symbolic of freedom, right? When I made that, it was like, this is me, this is how I feel now. When I was working, I felt like a lamb. I felt I didn't have any control over my life. I had to do what the man said and live under the man's rules, and I couldn't do it anymore. Cool little welcome sign. My Jeep love stuff, don't follow me, you won't make it. Harley Davidson, a little project I made for a video. Another big awesome eagle. Glass etching. All right, talk about glass etching. So let's see if we can see this. I got to put a light next to it. You can't really tell because it's light out, but that's an eagle. But I mean, check this out. I think you can see that if I get the light right. When you put underlighting on something like that, it's an ultrasound. That ultrasound just pops out. And there's a guy who's got into CNC, his name is Wayne, and he grabbed that ultrasound thing and took off with it. I mean, he's turning it into a business. I did a video on how to create those glass-etched ultrasounds. So I'll put a link for that down below. But I want to tell you, really what I want this to come down to is, if you're feeling like you're in a position in life where it's just not in you anymore to be doing the 9-to-5 stuff, no matter how much money you're making, you just feel like it's sucking your spirit dry, and you're being called to this, where we get our long mill CNC router and we just start creating these amazing projects I just showed you. It's time for that change. Don't ignore the call of your spirit. You are a creative being, and your spirit is screaming to come out, that creative side of you. If you are interested in making this kind of transition in life, then join the webinar that me and my co-host Bill are putting on at the end of the month, the CNC Business Webinar, to teach you how to start a business with a CNC machine, how to pick a niche, how to price your products, how to avoid the Walmart mentality, people who are always looking for discounts. Get real money in your pocket for doing something you're super, super passionate about doing. Join the CNC Business Webinar, right? Let's start earning some money doing something that you love, instead of earning money. You're paying the price of misery for a paycheck. That's not a way to live. That is not a way to live. If you're in the CNCing thing, just go for it. It doesn't matter if you got a long mill or another brand. If you're being called to it, then go for it. I got a ton of videos here that'll teach you about business. It'll teach you how to get started in this with the design, how the CNC routers work, where to get bits. So I'll have links for all this stuff down below. And I'm putting together a book that's gonna guide you down the path. Unfortunately, it's not available at this time, but if it, or when it becomes available, there'll be a link down below for that. This video is just to say, go for it. Don't waste your life doing something that you're not happy doing. It's scary venturing out on your own and letting go of that security of a job, but I gotta tell you, it is so worth the freedom inside to go after what you want to go after, instead of being locked into 8, 9, 10 hours a day that you have to be there, and half the time is worthless anyway because you're in meetings that go nowhere and you twiddle your thumbs. I want to tell you, I would sit at my desk and stare at my computer and just say, I don't want to be here. I was unhappy. That day, when I asked myself that question in the mirror, am I willing to go through this feeling another day? It was very clear the answer was no, and I just took the leap and turned in my notice. It was tough for a little while, but you know what? I've never looked back, and I've never been happier. I'm Garrett. I hope this little CNC, non-CNC, personal happiness video was enough of an inspiration for you to make a decision to make that change in your life, to go in the direction that'll bring you the inner happiness. I'm Garrett. I love you. I hope you have a great day, better tomorrow, and I hope the next decision you make is the one for the ultimate pure happiness that your spirit is calling you for.